United in our resolve to confront and defeat this terrorism that is not an attack on one nation, but on all nations.
On the 7th of July 2005, 4 suicide bombers targeted the capital's transport network. 52 innocent people died, more than 700 were injured, and over 100 were hospitalised. The 4 bombers were aged 18 to 30. Their attack plan began when 3 of the 4 suicide bombers met in Leeds, where they hired a car in which they drove to Luton to pick up their 4th accomplice.
Big white appeared and then it just smoke everywhere.
There was a flash and lights and lots of buzzing.
You started listening to the people shouting on the carriage that blew up, and there was this awful screaming of people like just help, help,
panicking,
help.
Breaking the carriage windows with bare hands.
With their bodies covered with blood, and it was awful.
The blast seemed to go on forever. I expect it was only a few seconds.
Everyone thought they were going to
Sure, I
die.
was going to die.
At 8:49 a.m, the 3 bombs on the underground trains were detonated. The Aldgate attack, 7 people died. Brussels Square, 26 people died, and 6 people at Edgware Road. The device detonated at Edgware Road was from the ringleader Mohammed Sadiq Khan. By late afternoon, the emergency services had confirmed that everyone who was trapped below the ground had been brought up to safety.
Reports that a bus has been ripped apart in an explosion in central London.
Exploding a few streets away, just near to Euston
Suddenly,
Station.
a huge explosion on the street up in front of me, and all I could see was the top of a bus completely destroyed.
The force of the blast blew passengers from their seats aboard the bus and left injured strewn across the road.
The number 30 bus, full of passengers evacuated from the tube network.
Massacred bodies. I kept saying, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy.
9:47 a.m, and an hour later the final bomb was detonated on a double-decker bus in Tavistock Square, outside of the headquarters of the British Medical Association. This explosion killed 13 people. Originally, the underground explosions were thought to be power-related problems. The bus attack was the first to be classed as a bomb explosion and thought to be a terrorist attack. The bombings had an effect on the city's business, as all buses and trains were stopped, causing a large financial loss. Roads into and out of London were closed too. There was an effect on the community after the bombings, as London Met Police recorded a sharp increase in hate crimes towards Muslims by 5% between the 7th and 21st of July.
The bombings caused up to £2 billion worth of damage. The retail industry was directly affected due to the amount of shoppers in London decreasing by 77%. The following 3 days after the attack, there were 68 crimes committed. The 3-week period after this, the Met Office Police saw a 573 increase in faith-related crimes in comparison to 2004. Since the attacks, there has been a hate crime reduction strategy for London created by the Mayor's Office for Policing and Crime.
The initial response to any disaster is vital to the survival of casualties. London Ambulance Services was the lead organisation responsible for the rescue efforts, and they allowed all 4 sites to be cleared within 3 hours, despite lack of essential resources such as fluids, tourniquets, triage cars and stretchers.
Within 7 minutes of the blast, the ambulance and fire services had been alerted to all of the incidents and were preparing to respond. 17 minutes after the initial blast, communication problems and confusion over the exact locations of the blast led to delays. 22 minutes later, and there was still confusion over delays due to the telephone lines and roads being congested due to the evacuation of the stations and nearby roads. 9:13, Code Amber was evoked, meaning all trains were directed back to the nearest stations, and some emergency services arrived on scene and began helping casualties.
It took 10 days for all the people injured or killed in the attacks to be identified by the police. The families had to register their loved ones missing or potentially involved through the Casualty Bureau. A family access centre was set up in the following days. There were meetings set up every month for survivors to meet. There were obvious political complications which implicated Tony Blair's position as Prime Minister, as family members of those who were lost were seeking justice for their loved ones. On the 10th anniversary of the attack, there was an attempt of another attack in London. The couple responsible were immediately caught and prosecuted. They intended to conduct a similar explosion in a shopping centre to coincide with the 7/7 attack. The couple's social media was used to track their plans. Since the 7/7 attack, the government have begun to implement many new anti-terrorist features into the city. Whether it be physical changes to the city, or such as bollards, numbered tube stations and public first aid kits, or improvement within the government. Improvements within the ambulance service have been made, as there is now a predetermined response for anything categorised as a major incident. MI5 have focused more on digital data gathering, monitoring people's online activity.
Making people aware of hate crime by teaching about it in schools, creating Hate Crime Awareness Week, developing an app and website, and introducing crime liaison officers. This is just a few of the schemes and strategies they have came up with to protect people from antisocial behaviour and to support all victims. Other social issues caused by the bombings are psychological problems, including PTSD, anxiety and depression. It is estimated that 4,000 people will be affected by mental health issues as a result of the bombings. There has been a response programme created where victims receive free mental health support. A trauma screening questionnaire was created to help diagnose those affected by the bombings. It asked a series of questions that had a simple yes or no answers to prevent extra emotional stress on the victims. Primary diagnostics were given to 255 of the patients and 72% of them had PTSD. The Global Terrorism Index ranks the UK 28 out of 163. This means that the country is at high vulnerability to terrorist attacks when this was recorded in 2018. There has been a gradual increase in terrorist-related attacks since 2005 and a rapid increase since 2013. 3 years before the 7/7 bombings, the government created a counter-terrorism strategical contest which aims to reduce international terrorism. This enables the UK's vulnerability to attacks to be reduced and enabling the confidence of people to live freely. To ensure the strategy was successful, they introduced some objectives: pursue, prevent, protect and prepare. The strategy was successful until the 7th of July 2005. It has been altered multiple times since its creation. At the time of the explosions, the Iraq War was taking place, which was what many people believe manipulated the attack. However, on the 10-year anniversary of the explosions, Tony Blair, who was the Prime Minister at the time, explained that terrorism is a global problem and that people from many faiths or backgrounds should unite. In other articles, Blair has been accused of provoking the attacks by sending British troops to the war.
Mike Brown, first in charge of the day-to-day running of the underground network on 7/7, is one of the first people who put his work in to make sure that the service was up and running as soon as possible. He also said that it was necessary to address and fix the issues with the black spots of radio communication. To do this, they developed the system Connect and the system Airwave. The upgraded systems work using cells that provide coverage both above and below ground. There is enough overlap between each cell that Brown is confident that the system would work following another 7/7 style attack, because even if one cell was destroyed, the others either side of it would provide enough coverage to fill the gap. Along with the use of the track system in the stations, this allows full coverage of where the trains are and when. Ken Livingstone says that the Connect system is a vital step in the modernisation of London's transport network, and it is also crucial to ensuring that the tube system is ready for the eventual hazards of 2012 Olympics and the ever-growing population. It will deliver communications improvement across the whole of the tube network, meaning that passengers will experience a more reliable service and fewer disruptions. There will be improvements in train service performance, especially during incidents, as it will help to speed up the recovery of service. Each underground line has its own radio system, while Connect is an integrated system providing the largest and most complex platform of its type ever undertaken by London Underground Network. The service also meant that the British Transport Police no longer needed to carry two radios with them at all times, and it was the first time that the same radio system could be used by both Metropolitan Police Service and the City of London police officers. This is mainly helpful in high-profile events such as New Year's Eve and football matches or Notting Hill Carnival. Officer safety has improved as well, together with communication between ambulances, which allows for a quicker and better chance to aid those in need. Legal point of view.
Manchester Arena attack. 22nd of May 2017, 22 people were killed in a suicide bombing attack. Manchester Arena was a target during an Ariana Grande concert. The suicide bomber detonated a homemade bomb, which he had packed with shrapnel. Over 200 people were injured.
13th of November 2015, Paris attacks. France saw its largest terrorist attack to date in its capital, a strike organised by the Islamic State. 130 people were killed and over 400 were injured. There were 6 suicide bombers, 3 at a football match, which killed 1 innocent person, and 3 at a concert, which was the deadliest attack, killing 89 people. There were also 3 shootings in restaurants and bars, killing 39 people.